that means we use social media data to predict psychological health or mental health from users. And today, rather than mainly talk about mental health issue, I will mainly talk about data I grabbed from Reddit on the general election of 2007 in UK. Oh, sorry, 2017. Thanks for the correction. How many minutes we left?
Less than one.
Shall I just start? Okay.
Hello everyone, today we have a special guest who is a psychologist, but did a great thing to address mental health and psychological traits using R and Python. Let me introduce Lucy Chen, a psychologist and a developer who will tell us more about her work with the topic Harnessing Social Media with R. Lucy researches on social media data and users' psychological traits. During the past 2 years, she has proactively engaged with social media data and work towards using a machine learning approach to model users' mental health and psychological traits, besides using R and Python to conduct data analysis. She's also a junior mobile or web app developer with some experience in JavaScript and Mentia platform. As well.
Thank you. I forget that I mentioned I developed an app on my introduction. Yeah. Yes, I developed an app recently. It's to collect users' social media data and their self-reported psychological traits. For example, your personality, and then you do a self-reported scale, and then I collect your social media data, and then I do some analysis. That's what my app about, but I haven't finished all of it, so it's due under construction. Okay, so I am one of the members in Hong Kong R user group, and Chainsaw has introduced where to find our group in most of the social media platform. And we have some tutorials on YouTube as well. So today I will talk about how to collect social media data and some NLP basics, sentiment analysis. There are different ways to do sentiment analysis. And yes, and this is my major focus today. Okay, so talking about social media data, I think a lot of you have read some studies about Twitter and Facebook. That's the most common social media data we can get, and it's easy to get. Facebook is not easy now, but Twitter is still quite easy to get it. But not a lot of people will look at data on YouTube, which is very useful as well. It's as useful as Twitter, but a lot of people ignore this YouTube data. And also Reddit is very interesting. Instagram. Facebook shut down the API for researchers, so now we cannot get Instagram data unless we submit an application to use the data, but it's very difficult to get approval. So we cannot access Instagram data at this moment, which is a pity. Now, what can social media data tell us? I guess a lot of you will know sentiment analysis on movie review, writing styles. But not a lot of you know that social media data reflect your personality, your self-disclosure, your mental health, like depression and subjective well-being. So my research focus on like the mental health part, but the personality and self-disclosure is very interesting as well. So how can social media data reflect your personality? Think about what you like on Facebook. Someone with an extroverted personality, they will particularly like something more. And self-disclosure. Think about someone who likes to disclose. Well, there are different levels for self-disclosure. So if you disclose your financial issues, your personal problems on Facebook, that means you have a higher self-disclosure level. Okay, so I will briefly introduce one of my studies before, which is to build a subjective well-being profile with Facebook language. What is subjective well-being? It's not like sentiment. Sentiment is part of it. That's what we call affect. Whether you feel happy or not at this moment, that is affect. Subjective well-being involved another component, we call it satisfaction with life. That is whether you are satisfied with your life. That's different. Now, if you like, for example, do you like this conference today? If you say, yes, I'm happy with it, so your affect is quite high. Are you satisfied with your life at this moment? Now, a lot of you probably think about, not really. My family, my wife often argues with me, and I don't make a lot of money. So, satisfaction with life is quite different from sentiment, but in a lot of studies, they only focus on sentiment. So what I did is I used data collected by my personality. So my personality is a database. They collected a lot of self-reported data from the participant, and these participants grant the permission to assess their Facebook status, profile, likes, etc. So I use these variables on Facebook to predict their self-reported values. So what I did is to analyze their sentiment, and then I used a language inquiry and word counting approach to count the topics in their text. Like how frequent does a participant mention a certain topic? And then I also use Lantern-Dirichlet allocation modeling, which is to generate a bunch of topics in a text. So this is a machine learning way of generating topic, and this is a manually defining the topics. And I combine all these features, and then I use a regression model to select these features. It's called lasso regression. And then I feed these features into a random forest model. I submitted this paper. Some reviewer asked me, why don't you use XGBoost, which is a popular algorithm on Kaggle at the moment. But when I wrote this paper, there's no XGBoost. So yes, things are changing so fast. So I use random forest and then to predict the self-reported value. The prediction result is average among many academic studies of this kind of models, about like 40 something. Okay, another thing interesting I did with that data set is to find out the topic effect, the topic sentiment. So what I did is I manually define some topics. For example, religion, holiday. Religion includes a bunch of words like church, prayer, etc. So I define these topics and I grab the sentences with these keywords, and then I aggregate the sentiment on this topic. And this is a Z-score. If you know what is Z-score, that's standard deviation. Oh, that's a score shows that standard deviation against the mean. So now we can see that people are quite happy when they're mentioning religion on holiday, when they talk to friends, they mention about chores, family, meals, and they're still not happy when they're talking about school, maths, and of course, sick. And then I compare my finding with a previous study called sampling experience study. This is very interesting. This study has been done like decades ago. A psychologist gave a lot of beepers, gave a beeper to every participant. So whenever the beeper rings, the participant needs to report what he or she is doing and how happy is she. So this is a previous study. It's a yellow bar. And then I compare my finding with their study. So they also present the data in Z-score, so I can compare with them. And I can see a similar trend in here. Okay, so that was my previous study. Now today I will talk about how to collect social media data, how to do sentiment analysis. There are multiple ways to do it. There are advantages and disadvantages of different approaches. And how to make social media data work for you. Now, this is very important. We can get a lot of data from the internet, but it's not like you grab the data and then you think of what you're trying to look at of this data. What we usually do as a researcher, we will think of a topic first, a research question first, what I want to look at. Then I find the data that might have the answer of my research question. Okay, so let's take a look at how to extract Reddit with R. So TrainSource has mentioned a lot of packages on R packages to analyze data. So now this package is called Reddit Extractor. So I extracted some data, some post with mentioning Jeremy Corbyn. Now, first of all, I would extract the URLs with the term Jeremy Corbyn. Then I clean the real URL, and then I grab data with the URL. It's pretty simple, right? With the help of this package. Or I can do it on Twitter. So on Twitter, usually the instruction of Twitter API said you can only grab about 3,000 tweets every day for each account, API account. So you can use Twitter Art. This is a very early package, and you can do it easily. Or if you don't want to bother, you can just download the database. Download the data from a database. There were many existing Twitter database, but to do it yourself, to grab the data yourself, gave you more leeway in your research. Or now there's a latest package called StreamR. With this one, you can get more than 3,000 tweets every day. You can get as much as you can. It's also very easy. You can filter the keywords you want, and then with parsed tweets, you can turn the JSON file into a data frame format. And you can also set follow. Follow is a user ID you want to track, and location if you want to grab tweets in American or the UK only. You can set your location here or language here. So it's pretty easy and direct. Okay, so next one I will talk about YouTube. A lot of people do not find the YouTube data very useful. Maybe because I don't see a lot of studies about YouTube. But I find it is actually as useful as Reddit and Twitter. Like under under in the comment section, well, if a video is about depression or cutting yourself, under the comment section, I can see a lot of commenters, a lot of people actually experienced the same problem. So we can find the whole community just under in the comment section of a particular video. So this is quite useful. And to grab YouTube data, you need to register a Google API account. So first of all, you need to enable your YouTube API, and then you click the API manager, and then you find the YouTube APIs, then you enable the API. Now you can use a package called Social Media Lab. It's a very new package, and very comprehensive. You can use this package to grab Facebook data, Twitter, and YouTube, and also Instagram. But Instagram is shut down by Facebook at the moment, so we can't use it. But it's quite easy to use. So input your API key, and then authenticate. And then input the video URLs. Oh, general plain text. That's a call on the video URL. You need to paste it here, and then you can collect the comment, and you can also collect the number of likes and other variables if you check the package. And they also have a website to explain how to use the package, and there are a lot of videos and tutorials about collecting social media data on this website. It's very useful. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some very basic baby step data processing with R. We can see a lot of smileys on the text data, and usually the best way to do it is to replace this smiley with the words, because later we will remove the punctuations. So we can replace the smiley with actual words, and then we clean the data. We remove the hyperlinks and remove the extra space, and we replace the smiley with actual words, etc. So we do a lot of cleaning of the data, and it's very easy to do it with R, just a few lines. Oh, I need to mention this sign is piping. It's to connect the different commands in R. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the sentiment. After we're removing all the noise in the data, then we can start to do sentiment analysis. A very easy way to do it is a word count approach. You'll find the sentiment list, and you count how often do these words on the sentiment list occurred in your text. So there are usually two lists, the positive and the negative list. And there are many lists in here. You can find it on this website. The lists are developed by multiple different scholars, so you can compare the list. And I want to show you the sample script, but if we have more time, I'll show you the sample script. Okay. So after we count the words, so we will have a positive score and a negative score, and that represent a positive sentiment, it's positive effect and negative effect. You can combine the values, and that's a sentiment score, or you can analyze the values separately. You analyze the positive and negative effect separately. Okay, so what I usually do is to do the topic sentiment as I just show you the topics on Facebook about religion or holiday. So how did I do that? First of all, I will select sentences that mention the topic keywords. So I grabbed some Reddit data a few days ago, and I selected, this time I do not use human rate topics, human manually select topics. I use a Blanton-Dirichlet allocation algorithm. That's a cluster of topics. And then I generate hundreds of topics, about 100 topics from text that mentioned Jeremy Corbyn. It's a title that mentioned Jeremy Corbyn. So I grab this text and I do a sentiment analysis of sentences that mention these keywords: doctor, nurses, NHS, and this is the topic. I call it nurse salary. And then I calculate the mean. So the mean of nurse salary, the mean sentiment of nurse salary is about this, which is still positive. And the mean sentiment of, this is another one. So this is a text that mentioned Jeremy. This is the text that mentioned Theresa May. So they're different. We can see that text that mentioned Theresa May, the nurse salary topic is quite negative. Now this doesn't do much. And so I combine all the text and I see the topic sentiments of nurse, NHS, foxes, and socialism and drug. And then I can find that people are quite negative towards foxes. They hate it. They hate the idea of hunting foxes. And they hate the idea of legalizing marijuana. Okay, this still doesn't do much. So how can we make the social media work for us? We want to see a trend most of the time. So we need to see how these sentiments change across time. We want to see how does it change when some policies come out, some special events come out. Now that's what I do. So I aggregate the sentiment score on different dates. This is actually 2014, 2015, 16, 17, so until recent. And we can see the drug sentiment change. How does it change here like that? And the fox hunting sentiment, well, obviously they mentioned fox hunting quite recent. It's about at the beginning of June, we can see here. And the sentiment score is very low. People are so angry about it. And also NHS, people are angry about it since January. Also the nurse salary, it's since January. Now nurse salary goes with the NHS sentiment. They are somewhat similar in here because it's quite closely related. And Brexit happened last year in June, at the end of June. So it was until 6 months until Brexit happened that we can see the effect of Brexit. A lot of nurses left, and NHS is in shortage of hands, and the service is not good. That's why people are so angry about that. Now we can see in the sentiment. Uh-oh. What's wrong? Okay. So it's a bit loose. Now, socialism. Oh, well, a lot of people think that the Labour Party's promotion about the socialism is so unwelcoming. And there should be a lot of people complain about this. Is that true? Seems not. People doesn't hate it that much in the UK. So I combined the 5 topic sentiments in one graph. and then we can see. Now, some of the lines are bricked because there are days that people do not mention this topic. I only grabbed about 80,000 Reddit comments. So there are some days I cannot find, we don't find any keywords, topic keywords. That's why the line is bricked. Now, if we combine the 5 topic sentiments together, then we can see the trends in here. So on this day, the drug sentiment is particularly low is because the MPs proposed to legalize marijuana. That's why the sentiment suddenly drops. And we can see the fox hunting thing, and the nurse salary just NHS, people talk about NHS all the time, so we can see it from 2013. So at the end of it's 2013, people start to talk about it. But it's until starting from the January of this year, people start aware that the shortage of nurses is an issue. That's why they started mentioning it, and they're not happy with it. Now, what can we do with this kind of information? When people are so unhappy about this topic, what if the Labour Party brings out this topic at this time? Then they might be able to influence people's decision on something. And that's what Donald Trump has done previously. So they analyze the sentiment and the personalities of the users on Facebook and the life satisfaction, things like that, of the users on Facebook. So they will know that a particular group of people, they will identify which age group, which type of people with certain personality tend to support which kind of idea, for example, socialism. And then they do a promotion, they promote a post about socialism to this group of people on Facebook. If you have ever used advertising on Facebook, you will know that you can select the age group and the country of people, and you can narrow the group of people you want to do the promotion. So this is how we can actually use social media data to work for us. Okay, so other sentiment analysis approach. Other than using the word list, you can also use XGBoost or feature hashing and machine learning kind of approach to predict sentiment. But with this approach, you need to manually label thousands of tweets or Facebook status updates. And then you use a machine learning model to predict the labels. Or you can try TensorFlow just as Chainsaw just show you. Or if you don't want to bother, you have lots of text to do it, you can just use commercial sentiment analysis. There's one called sentiment strings. So sentiment strings mainly just use the word count approach, and they have two word lists, positive and the negatives, and then they'll do it for you. It's written in Java, so that's the importance of using Java. And you can also use the service from Lexalytics. So they, besides analyzing the word sentiment, they also analyze the sentence structure. So sentiments are supposed, Lexalytics service is supposed to be more accurate than using the sentiment word list only, but they charge a very high price for that. For the commercial price, it's like $1,000 a month. So future studies. In the future, I want to combine social media data from different accounts. Now, not a lot of people use Facebook or Twitter. Some of them just don't like to post text, or you suddenly post text on Facebook or Twitter. But a lot of them watch YouTube. So if I can combine multiple accounts of a user, and then the prediction will be more accurate. And in the future, well, it's not in the future, it's happening now. The team that helps Donald Trump to do the promotion thing, they already make a machine predicted psychological profile. It's on the Cambridge website. So you log in with your Facebook account, and they will show you a profile of your personality, your self-disclosure, etc. And the founder of that website, and he was a co-author of my previous paper, Satisfaction with Life. And we can conduct mega-scale study with computer predict variables. Mega-scales, the big data analysis. The Train Source has mentioned how to do like big data analysis with R. Well, an easy way to do it is you use the cluster service combined with Spark. And yes, this is my talk. And thank you. Do we still have time? Okay, so I can show you some demo of the screen. Oh, we still have 1 minute or something. Great. Now, this is the data I get from Reddit. You can see we have a post day, the structure. The structure tells you whether this comment is the first layer or is it a reply of a comment, and author, title. And YouTube data is like this. You can have the username, the reply count, like count, and video ID, etc. And this is a Twitter. It's a tweets. Well, with StreamR, you can get a lot more variables than Twitter R. So use StreamR packages better. And we can have dozens of variables about Twitter. Okay, so basically this is all for today. Thank you for coming to the talk. It's the last session. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
This question may not be really related to data analysis, but more about your research. So how do you define sentiment?
Sorry,
How do you define sentiment? I see sentiment has some score, right? How do you define the sentiment as like 0.5 or 1? How do you define that?
There were many sentiment word lists. So the one I used in here, post. So the one I use in here is similar to this one. Yes, it's this one. This is a positive list. If, for each word that accounts that occurs in the text, in the positives, I will give 1 score, 1 point, 1 point for each word. But there are other lists, and they manually rate it. They manually rate the score. For example, abundance might be like 3, or achievement might be 4, something like that. But I don't use that one because I don't think manually rating it is trustworthy. Yes, this is the sentiment analysis. It's a very basic one. And I can show you the algorithm of doing sentiment. Yes, this is the algorithm. So I read the 2 list, and then I have a score sentiment function, which is to just count how the occurrence of the words in the text. Any other questions? No? Okay, great. All right, thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Dushi, for such an insightful sharing. I'm sure Hong Kong is such a stressful city, and applying technology to mental health development will definitely be the key in the future. So may we take this chance to thank all of you audience. Give you a big hand. As we have spent such a fruitful 2-day Hong Kong Open Source Conference at CyberRobot together, hope all of you had a great time and take home with valuable ideas and insights by meeting developers from all around the world and the local community.
We also have to thank our Platinum sponsor Cyberport, Gold sponsors Candy.net, IBM, Silver sponsors MySQL, Microsoft, Prize sponsor JetBrains. This is the end of our 2017 Hong Kong Open Source Conference, and safe travel and looking forward to seeing you in Hong Kong Open Source Conference 2018. Thank you.
Thank you.